The story begins with one of the hired killers where he was sitting in the house of one of the victims waiting for him to come to kill him, and indeed when he entered his house that person found a new watch on top of the closet, so he put a table and went up on it to take the watch, but suddenly the killer appeared and put a wire on his neck and hanged him. And this was one of his plans that he uses to kill his victims in order not to look like a crime but as a suicide. This killer is called Fallon, and he works in an organized group with his killers. Others are assigned other tasks, and Fallon was after he finished the killing process and be tense go to one of the places to get some problems to hit others, and was highly skilled fighting and devastating punches. Either back to the team of killers that Fallon works with them. Each of them had a style where Cliff uses the axe to commit his crimes and another uses poison, and there are also two people working together as a team, and they are Mick and Mac from the Special Forces and trainees in the best way, and they were committing their crimes and then making them look like a street crime to steal money. And there's also the murderer Jane, and there's Fenke, who always invented new ideas in killing his victims in various forms. But here we see Ray, who is considered the owner and manager in this. In the end, we see Milton, who concludes agreements with clients and distributes work according to the requirements and conditions of killing. Milton assigned Fallon a killing mission for a playing band, and also asked him to rush to carry out a mission that he had given him weeks ago. But it needed long planning from Fallon in order to look like an accident, so Milton told him that this mission, if completed during tomorrow, would be paid double for them. Already the next day Fallon went out to carry out the mission after long planning and reconnaissance. He fired his rifle at the wheel of a car, so it deviated from its course and slipped on the person to be killed. And indeed the operation was successful, and that shot was which punctured the wheel is a chemical substance and glass pieces in order to appear to the police that the wheels were pierced with broken glass. Then he received a call from Milton apologizing to him and asking that he go to receive the wage instead of him at 9 in the evening. That night he went first to carry out the task of killing his bands of musicians, where he was able to manipulate the electricity wires and then fabricated a short circuit that led to the death of them all. Then he went to receive the wages of the traffic accident mission. But while he was waiting, suddenly a motorcycle appeared and someone was shooting fire at
You're disgraced.
Fallon was able to get rid of him and returned home, but in the middle of the night, while he was sleeping, he received a voice message from his ex-wife's friend Beth, where she told him that Beth had been killed by thieves who broke into her house to steal. Fallon went to visit her grave and met her friend, and she told him that she died while pregnant with his child. This is what made Fallon feel more sad. So Fallon decided to verify her murder. Fallon contacted one of them and brought him a file containing all the details of the crime and also went to the site crime, but he noticed in the medical reports that there are traces of sodium thiobinate in the victim's blood and that it is a substance used to relieve aviation phobia. But Fallon knows that Beth does not have a phobia of flying, so remember that those who use this substance to kill his victims are from his team, namely Mick and Mac. Then Fallon went to them while he was angry and gave the reports in front of them and accused them of killing her, so they tried at first to deny that. But then they admitted that they were the perpetrators and that it was just a job and they had to do it regardless about the personality of the victim, so that's when Fallon started fighting with them. The two could not overcome him, so they told him then that they had no guilt in that, but Milton was the one who received that work and assigned them to carry it out. So Fallon decided to go to Milton to interrogate him to find out the agent who asked for this assassination. Indeed, he arrived at their place of work, but he did not find Milton in the place and only Ray was there, so he also asked him about that matter. But Ray did not answer him with anything except that this is what their work requires and he has to accept that. Then he went to Beth's friend Charlie and asked her that Beth had been involved with someone in the recent period, so she told him that she works in an environmental conservation company and that she will go to Beth's family house to search for some files in her computer. In the meantime, Cliff broke into Charlie's house and tried to kill her. So Fallon confronted him and was able to overcome him and kill him, so it turned out then that they had assigned him to kill Charlie because she knew a lot of secrets about Beth. Fallon then went to Milton's favorite place and actually found him there and began to interrogate him and ask him about the agent, and indeed then Milton confessed the name of the agent, which is Leonard. Then Ray gathered the team and told them that Fallon had broken the rules and exceeded his limits and began to pose a danger to them, so he ordered them then to kill Fallon. Fallon met Charlie, and she told him some of the information she got, including that Beth had files proving the corruption of officials in the environment company, and she gave him a notebook containing the information he needed, including the address of Agent Leonard. Fallon went and broke into Leonard's office and began to interrogate him about the reason for his request to kill Beth, so he tried to evade him at first. But then he admitted that the one who assigned him that task was the executive director of the company, who is called Zim, and he also confessed to all their work and why they decided to get rid of Beth, and he had audio recordings proving everything and gave it to him. But suddenly Mick and Mac broke into the place and started shooting. Fallon was able to eliminate Mick and Mac, and when he left, he faced another person from his team and was able to get rid of him and Vinky, as they were sent to kill him, but they failed to do so. As for Fallon, before he left, he took a tool from Vinky's bag, which is one of his killing tools. Fallon went to Zim's house and attacked the guards, and Jane was there to protect him, so she tried to kill Fallon and prevent him from entering his office, but she failed to do so, and Zim then tried to seduce Fallon that he would make him rich and share the work and profits with him, but Fallon did not care about that, and his concern was to take revenge on the killer of his ex-wife and deprive him of becoming a father. In the end, Fallon returned to Ray's place to kill Milton because it turned out that he knew that the victim was his ex-wife, and yet he carried out that mission. And Fallon then told Ray that Milton had sent him on the last mission to receive the wage and set a trap for him. And all this was not Ray, and he was so familiar with him that he played an audio recording proving that Milton agreed with that agent to kill the perpetrator, Fallon. After completing his mission, Ray was angry about that because Milton betrayed them and then beat him violently. As for Fallon, he gave him that medical patch that Finky uses to kill his victims, so Milton used it and did not feel anything, but only a few seconds passed until he fell to the ground and died. As for Ray, he took advantage of the opportunity and took out his weapon and pointed it at Fallon, and he was angry with him because he destroyed his team and everything he founded, but in the end he backed away from that and forgave him for everything because he had taken care of him since he was a young man and took care of him as if he was his son. So Fallon went out and set out to continue his life as an ordinary person away from these works.